I'm very interested in this Peretz Shule. Could you describe the school to me?
It was all in Yiddish. We had Jewish-speaking teachers. It was after school, generally from 4 to 5:30. If you went to what they called Hechere Kursen, which was advanced courses, high school, essentially, there was only one class of those in one of the branches that was not near my home. So in order to do that, I needed to take the streetcar or the bus to get to Yiddish school. Otherwise, we walked because they were, in the large sense, the neighborhood. They started with first grade and went right through to grade 6, and when you graduated grade 6, they had 7 and 8 in the high school, I guess is what you would call it. And then there were advanced classes.
And you also took those?
I took those. My mother was fond of saying that before she gets married, she'll have to have a class at Peretz Shule. But I took those with there were probably 5 or 6 diehards along with me. And we just stayed as long as we could.
And why did you keep returning to study more?
I loved the language. We did, at that point, we had, through the years, we had done history, we had done literature, and mostly when in the higher classes we were doing literature. And it was important for me to know who I was. I love the language Yiddish. I think it's very expressive. And it was important for me to know as much as I could about the language. It wasn't because my parents insisted. They'd have been happy. I mean, as long as I would have graduated from grade 6, that would have been sufficient. But it was, I wanted to go on. It broadened me. Nobody I know knows Yiddish now. I'm not anywhere near my family. But I wouldn't have given that part of my life for anything. I mean, the people who were important to me in my life were my teachers at the Peretz Shule.
Can you remember any of them that you might that you might have a story about?
Oh, Lola Kipnis was a teacher that I was very fond of. I'm trying desperately to remember the principal's name, but I can't. It may come to me before this is over. Lola Kipnis was one of my favorites.
And why did you like him?
He was pleasant. He was serious about the classes, but he wasn't strict in the sense, he wasn't rigid, I guess, maybe that's it. There was a particular teacher I had trouble with. You know, we passed notes. We did the same things that kids do in regular grammar school, or here grammar school, or what we called English school. You know, you had something you had to tell somebody, or you passed a note, or but he was tolerant. You know, he didn't let us interfere with the lecture or what we were learning, but he was somewhat tolerant more tolerant than one particular teacher whose class I refused to go to. As I got older and was more verbal, I made it clear to my parents that if I had to be in her class, and it caused me, actually, I had to switch schools. I went to a different branch in order to avoid her. That was the way I could continue at the Peretz Shule. And so I instead of walking then, I took a streetcar to get to Shule every night. But I just flat refused to be in her class.
So,
And I wasn't a kid that was disruptive. I was like other kids, all of a sudden you have to tell your friends something, but not nasty or disruptive, but she was on, even when it wasn't me, she was on me. And that was the point. It said, no more. I'm out of school or I have to leave. I have to go elsewhere.
when you would pass notes with friends in class, would they be in Yiddish, do you think?
No.
Oh.
No, hardly ever. They were definitely in English. You had to do it quickly.
Yes.
Yiddish writing is, it's not quick.
But you chatted with your friends at the Peretz Shule sometimes in Yiddish?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we did. And even after, I had a particular friend who went right along with me. We're still in touch, although she still lives in Montreal. But when we speak Yiddish together, and she and I spoke Yiddish quite a lot.